Dallas Goedert is returning to the Philadelphia Eagles for his ninth season on a one-year contract, as he and the Eagles have tried to find common ground on a contract while Howie Roseman simultaneously navigated the A.J. Brown situation. Now, the Eagles twice pushed back the deadline for Goedert's contract to void, giving the two sides more time to figure out the contract. If the Eagles were forced to release Goedert, they would have taken a huge $20 million cap hit because of the void years written into his contract last season. Salary cap aside, this is a huge move for the Eagles, who don't have another viable receiving tight end on the roster. Despite Goedert's history of production, the market just wasn't there for him in free agency, probably because of his age. He turned 31 in January in injury history. Because of that, the Eagles were able to sign him for cheap, and the one-year deal is just worth $7 million, including a $4.25 million signing bonus. That makes Goedert the 23rd highest paid tight end in the NFL. Goedert earned only $10 million last year, so this is a significant pay cut. Goedert is 31, but coming off another productive season with 60 catches for 591 yards and 13 touchdowns, including 2 in a playoff loss to the 49ers. Now, Goedert ranks 5th in Eagles history with 409 catches and 9th with 35 touchdowns. Among tight ends, only his former teammate Zach Ertz has more catches, yards, and touchdowns in an Eagles uniform. Now, Goedert is also the leading postseason receiver in the Eagles history with 56 catches for 595 yards and 5 touchdowns. His 56 catches are 7th most in NFL history by a tight end in the playoffs. His 595 yards are 8th most, and his 6 touchdowns are 5th most. Among tight ends with at least 50 career postseason targets, his 74.7 catch percentage is 4th highest all time, behind only Travis Kelce, Keith Jackson, and Jason Witten. Since 2019, Goedert's first big season, he ranks 5th in the NFL among tight ends in yards and touchdowns and 8th in catches. Goedert's career average of 40 yards per game is the highest in the NFL history by a tight end who's never made the Pro Bowl. Dustin Keller, who played for the Jets from 2008 through 2012, is second at 39.9. Now, Goedert has been a model of consistency as an Eagle, with 7 straight seasons with at least 400 receiving yards. The only Eagles with more 400-yard seasons in a row are Hall of Famer Harold Carmichael and Pete Retzlaff. Goedert's return gives Jalen Hurts one of his most trusted receivers as he begins a new offensive system under Sean Mannion. Hurts has now completed 268 passes to Goedert since 2020, and he's only completed more to Devontae Smith, 347, and A.J. Brown, 318. What Goedert's contract means for Brown remains to be seen. Howie Roseman has been open to trading Brown with the right return, reportedly for at least a first round and a second round pick, and the cap hits the Eagles would have to incur by releasing Goedert and trading Brown would have made signing other players challenging. No details yet on this one-year contract, but Goedert earned $10 million last season and has earned $57 million in his first 8 seasons in the NFL. With the 9th year in the Eagles uniform, Goedert will tie Ertz and Chad Lewis for the second longest tenure by an Eagles tight end. Brent Selleck played for 11 seasons from 2007 to 2017. And with this move of signing Dallas Goedert, the Eagles are probably going to move on from A.J. Brown. Teams are going to offer a first-round pick. He's worth that. Last year was one of his worst seasons, and he still had 1,000 yards. He had a few bad drops in that playoff game, and I know it looks bad. During the whole season, he was complaining about not getting the ball, and then he dropped 3 big passes in that playoff game versus the 49ers. So I think you got to move on from A.J. Brown because it's going to be the same thing this year. Mannion is probably going to make A.J. Brown the 3rd or 4th option on that offense. The first option always is going to be Saquon Barkley, and then Jalen Hurts is going to do his thing, the run and pass. He's a dual threat quarterback. Dallas Goedert now is the red zone target. A.J. Brown could have played his last game in an Eagles uniform, and most of the fans, they want to keep A.J. They know how good he is. When you win a Super Bowl with a player, you kind of get closer to them. You kind of turn your head to some of the stuff that they do in the media. you don't really take it seriously at all. You're just like, oh, that's A.J. Brown. A lot of these people don't understand him, don't understand his personality. But to be a championship team, I always believed you got to sacrifice stats for wins. And it doesn't sound like A.J. Brown wants to do that. At this point in his career, he's an older type of receiver, getting up there in age at 30 years old. He should be about championships and creating a dynasty with the Eagles, not worried about getting 100 yards per game, because Jalen Hurts isn't a 300-yard-a-game quarterback. He's a guy who's going to throw for 200 yards and rush for 70 yards, and he might have 2 touchdowns rushing and a touchdown throwing, but he's always turned it up in the playoffs. This year he didn't. It was actually a down year for Jalen Hurts, down year for Saquon Barkley as well, almost 1,000 less yards rushing in 2024. The offensive line didn't play well, but you wouldn't know it with this Eagles team. They were still able to win their division. They still dominated games. I do remember them losing a couple close games, one to Denver where they had the lead, and then Denver came back in the fourth quarter. They didn't really look like a championship team last year, just with some of the leaks that went on in the locker room. Kevin Patullo wasn't a great offensive coordinator. And when you're a great team, people are going to want your coaches. And it's tough to repeat when you don't have the same coaching staff. They ended up trading for Jalen Phillips. And this was surprising to me, how he gives up a third-round pick for this guy and lets him get away in free agency. You don't see Howie Roseman do that. I could not believe that Jalen Phillips did not sign a team-friendly deal with the Eagles. This team actually traded a third-round pick. I feel like terrible. Like, look, $30 million, I get it. You want to go to the Panthers and you want to play for them. But the Eagles went out and traded for you. They thought so highly of you. They wanted you around and wanted an extension, wanted you to sign the contract, and he ends up going with the Panthers. I don't think the Eagles wanted to pay $30 million. I think they were, in that 20 to 25 million range, and you saw that's about what the cap hit was. But they end up getting Goedert. They end up getting Rick Woolen, who's going to help them out. And a lot of times last year, people were going at Kylie Ringo and Adoree Jackson, the offensive line and that cornerback number 2. So they did address that, and I think that's going to help out tremendously. Rick Woolen, 6'4", a bigger type of a cornerback. It's tough to get those short passes on him. He is vulnerable to the double moves, though, and most likely he's going to get his hands on you. But if he were to miss, he tends to get beat deep, and that's why he got benched last year. He went to the Seahawks, cornerback number 3. Now, the Seahawks have a ton of talent in the cornerback room. And it's not really saying much that they moved him down to cornerback 3 because, probably 5 of those guys could start for NFL teams. But Rick Woolen is going to the Eagles. It's not going to cost him, a future. It's only a 1-year deal, right? This guy's a little bit of a head case. Remember the penalty that he had in the NFC Championship game where the Seahawks are up in the game and he takes a swipe at a guy. Very selfish. Has the bad personal fouls, unnecessary roughness calls, but he'll make plays. That's what he does. That's why he got paid the $15 million. He makes more plays than he makes the boneheaded penalties, I'll tell you that. So I like this Dallas Goedert signing because he has the big game experience. You don't want to let a tight end walk away that you need playoff experience with, especially someone, that's almost leading in tight ends in NFL history, with stats for a tight end in the playoffs. Yeah, the Eagles are going to be fun in 2026. It's just all about what they can get for A.J. Brown, and maybe they keep him, just like Max Crosby. Nothing shocks me now in the NFL. The Bills could possibly trade for A.J. Brown. Sean McDermott's now fired. Brady is now the coach and offensive mind. Look, if you're going to make the Bills better, Bills got to give up a bunch of picks. I don't see the first and the second. That's a little bit too much for me. But yeah, A.J. Brown is worth a first-round pick. More than likely, if you get the Buffalo pick, you're going to be in the high 20s, the back end of the first round. And the Patriots probably would be the best team to go with. They could be a fluke in the playoffs. You never know. Drake May could struggle, injuries here and there. The defense isn't the same, and the Patriots only win 6 games. Now you're picking in the top 15. I would trade him to the Patriots over anything. Trade him back to his old coach. Tell people that you want A.J. Brown. You don't want to lose leverage in the media. You want to constantly say, A.J. Brown's going to help this roster out next year. A.J. Brown is going to help us win games next year. It's without a doubt. It's a fact. He's done it before. Always want to see what's going on with this Eagles team after they blew us out in the Super Bowl. I feel like after that game, it kind of woke me up as a Chiefs fan, and it closed our window. I mean, if you were to look at my content before the Chiefs lost to the Eagles in that Super Bowl, I was talking a lot of crap. And then afterwards, now I'm hard on them. I'm like one of those dads where the kid scores 40 and he's like, yeah, but you missed those free throws. Got Mahomes' injury. We got a bad offensive line. Well, the interior's pretty good, but we don't know what we're going to get from left tackle or right tackle. Now we signed Kenneth Walker, and that's an overpay, but he's going to help out. I need 300 carries, 1,500 yards, 12, 13 touchdowns, and he's going to live out that contract. He's got big shoes to fill. Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, Jamal Charles, Marcus Allen, and I count him. I know he was a Raider, but he's got big shoes to fill. This Chiefs team, it could struggle next year. Trying to make Eagles content, trying to do Eagles reactions. So guys, I just appreciate it if you could support me. I do play-by-plays as well. I'm doing the United States final in the WBC. I'm going to be doing the live play-by-play on that, showing the game actually. So check that out for sure. I have some of the best play-by-play on YouTube. I don't know anybody that can do NFL, NBA, and MLB play-by-play all together and actually be decent at it. And do it by themselves too, not with a co-host, not somebody to talk when there's dead air, because that's going to happen. You don't have a lot of shit to say when you're doing a play-by-play. But check those out. Check the videos out, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the channel. I don't really ask for them in the beginning of videos. I say what I need to say, and then at the end of the video, that's when I promote. Maybe tell you guys, ask you guys to do something. Maybe hit the thank you button. Support the channel if you can. Hit the join button. Also, that helps the channel big time. Also, go check out my buddy Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Daniel that has the best highlights on YouTube. NBA, MLB, NFL, hockey, Olympics, wrestling, any sport, you name it. The best highlights on YouTube. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Also, go check out my buddy Cavecast, a Chiefs content creator who makes draft content as well. You might not like the Chiefs, but if you like the NFL draft, go check out my buddy TJ and Mike. They run a good channel over there, Cavecast. That's K-A-S-T. So make sure you get the spelling right on Cavecast. Also, go check out my buddy R&J Podcast, Raiders content creator who makes draft content, has a Sunday show with Christopher Raiders. Really good Raiders content creator, guy that gave me my first opportunity to be on an actual show with not thousands, but he has 1,000 subscribers, but like 20, 30 people. And I mean, this is the first time I actually was like entertaining people, and it felt, I needed to get better at it. I definitely did, but that was really the first channel to do that, and that's why I promote him. So thank you to R&J Podcast, Cavecast, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, and I'll be throwing more people in here at the end of videos. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.